Welcome back to this month's episode of You Ask Talk About Your Mental Health and Hormones. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. This is part 5 of this month's discussion, and you can go to our channel and social media platforms to see videos on puberty, menstrual cycles, and PMS versus PMDD, as well as pregnancy and postpartum depression in parts 1 through 3. This video, we are going to address perimenopause and menopause, the transition nobody prepared us for. Perimenopause occurs in the years leading up to the final menstrual period. It can begin as early as the mid-30s and typically spans 4 to 10 years. During this time, estrogen and progesterone production becomes very erratic. The fluctuations are unpredictable, and that unpredictability is precisely what makes this phase so emotionally disruptive. Menopause is officially defined as 12 consecutive months without a period. The average is age 51. After that, you're considered postmenopausal, and hormone levels may stabilize at a new lower baseline. Mental health symptoms of perimenopause and menopause are quite important to discuss because this is one of the most undertreated areas in women's medicine. And I feel strongly about saying this clearly. The mood symptoms of perimenopause are real. They are biological, and they are not just stress or part of aging. Anxiety, often new or worse than anxiety, is one of the most common symptoms with regards to moods. Many women describe a sense of dread or unease they've never experienced before. Racing heartbeats, palpitations, unexpected temperature changes from extreme heat to cold can worsen anxiety during this time. Depression rates also rise during perimenopause, especially in women with a prior history of mood sensitivity. Brain fog, difficulty with memory, concentration, and word finding issues are extraordinarily common and deeply unsettling for women who've usually always been very sharp. So we have emotional volatility, irritability, sleep disruption from the night sweats, and all of this interconnected. To discuss the coping and treatment, you usually need to track your symptoms across multiple months. Seeing the pattern helps both you and your doctor understand what's happening. Menopausal hormone therapy, or MHT, which is formerly known as HRT, has been significantly rehabilitated by updated research. So there is a promise on the horizon. For many women, it is the most effective treatment for both physical and mental symptoms to go on HRT or menopausal hormonal treatment. But you have to have an informed conversation with your gynecologist. We have to consider the associated risks versus the benefits and your personalized risk factors if you do hormonal treatment. Non-hormonal options include SSRIs and SNRIs. These can be effective for mood and hot flashes. Cognitive behavioral therapy and mindfulness-based stress reduction are all recommended. Lifestyle changes, resistance training. This is particularly powerful in this stage for mood and bone density and metabolic health. Prioritize protein and strength training. Community does matter in this stage of your life. Isolation worsens mood. Seek out other women in this stage. Shared experiences is genuinely therapeutic. And to every woman in the thick of menopause who feels like she's losing her mind, you're not. Your brain is adapting to a massive hormonal shift. You deserve care, information, and compassion, and not dismissal. This month's episode was a series of clips connecting hormonal changes to our mental health and what women experience at different phases of their lives. Before we close, here are 5 evidence-based coping strategies that work. regardless of where you are in your hormonal life cycle. First, track everything: your cycle, your mood, your sleep, your energy. Knowledge is power, and patterns are your compass. 2, move your body. Exercise is one of the most potent mood regulators we have. Even 20 to 30 minutes most days will shift brain chemistry measurably. 3, protect your sleep. Prioritize your sleep. Hormonal disruptions almost always worsen sleep, and poor sleep worsens hormonal disruption. It's a cycle. Intervene at the sleep level first. Number 4, find your people. Whether it's a therapist, a women's health group, an exercise group, trusted friends, an online community, social connection buffers the impact of hormonal mood changes. And number 5, advocate in the exam room. Come prepared to see us. Guide your doctor. Track your symptoms. Name them specifically. If your provider dismisses you, seek a second opinion. You deserve to be heard. Now, this is a lot, I know, but I hope what you're leaving with today is this: your hormones and your mental health are not separate stories. They are the same story. And understanding that story changes everything. You are not too sensitive, you're not being dramatic, you're not falling apart. You are a woman whose brain is in constant conversation with her hormones, and that conversation deserves to be understood. If any part of today's episode resonated with you, if you finally have a language to describe something you've been experiencing, share this episode with someone who needs it. Drop a comment below telling me which life stage you're in and what you want to know more about. This channel exists because you have asked, and I will always show up to answer. I'm Dr. Shevon Joseph. Thank you for trusting me with your questions, and see you next month. Take care. Also book an online consultation with me for a one-on-one discussion of your specific concerns. Bookings for online consults can be made easily via our website. You'll see all the details below, but visit us at azaleahealtht.com.